It was a high neck sweatshirt.
which I love.
I hate the high neck.
Had it on today, and I was like, oh, and it's like roomy, and it's kind of like it gives nonchalant.
I think it gives priest. That's the vibe I was getting. So not for me, but good to know you like the high neck.
What's up, guys? We're dreamers, we're moms, and welcome to the Mommy Artist Podcast. Now let's get creatively unhinged. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Mommy Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Megan, and I am just so grateful to be here, you guys. This is a very special episode because I am joined by my real-life BFF, Carly.
I'm so honored to be here.
So we just got back from Morgan Wallen.
We did. We cosplayed country gals this weekend.
Cosplay.
We really did. We put on those boots and who were we? But
Do we own
fun.
the boots?
Yeah.
Yes. Have we worn the boots more than 5 times? No.
I bought mine.
Literally just bought.
I bought mine last weekend. But no one knew that I hadn't worn boots before.
Right.
You know?
We look like we wear boots.
We look like we were supposed to be there, and it was a blast.
It was a blast.
I haven't been to a concert in a long time. I feel like you're more of a concert gal.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't been to a concert, especially at a big venue, in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you the most unhinged thing that we did not discuss happened that night?
I can't wait.
Okay, so we go, the concert was going to start. We get there in time to get our little beverages, get our snacks, got to go to the merch line. Because I factor in the cost of merch as buying a ticket. I have to have merch.
We're both big merch girlies.
We're getting the merch.
We're getting the merch.
We're getting the merch. So a $90 sweatshirt, it wasn't even that crazy.
I bought 3 things.
You did. You bought 2.
I blacked out.
Yeah, as one does. And you were in front of me in line. So you went and got your merch and moved on. I didn't check your total or anything like that. I just knew you spent probably $200. It was my turn to go. I buy one sweatshirt and a t-shirt. Okay, $90 sweatshirt. But I'm like, this is supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. I go and the lady presents me with the total, okay? Right. And what I see on screen was what was so unhinged. It said tip 15%, 20%, or 25%. There was no tip option. Right. So I'm sitting there looking. I am supposed to tip this person on my $90 Morgan Wallen shirt. Morgan's not getting this. So I clicked the 15% and then moved on. We are tipping now on merch?
I didn't. That was your mistake.
Wait, what?
Well, I did, but I had the foresight to see. I saw the custom thing, and in my mind, I knew I figured in $2 for this.
You couldn't have whispered this to me. Hey, custom. I just needed the people to know that be prepared if you go to a concert that 15% tip will come up there, and be prepared, I guess, due to the custom, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Just maybe say no.
One more thing about the merch too.
Oh, continue.
I get home
by all means.
I get home.
It's your show.
They're going to be like, she's the annoying BFF that can't shut up. But I got home the next day, as one does, and puts on the concert merch. It was a high neck sweatshirt.
Which I love.
I hate the high neck.
Had it on today. And I was like, oh, and it's roomy, and it's kind of it gives nonchalant.
I think it gives priest. That's the vibe I was getting. So not for me, but good to know you like the high neck.
No, it's giving casual college girl.
Okay. Not what mine wasn't that experience. Maybe it was the 15% I added made it higher in the neck for mine. So
I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. But we had fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm here with my first guest, guys. She is a former D1 athlete turned lawyer, then NFL agent, and then to become a collage artist where she turns vintage pieces into modern fine art. And that is my girl, Ashley Beebe. She's here with me today. It is giving Elwood's energy. It's giving I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I'm just so happy she chose to spend the next hour with us. So thank you, Ashley, for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes.
I'm so excited, too. I'm just so happy that you agreed to meet with me. I mean, it's been a few years since we spoke, but
we look the same.
I know. We look the same. We look great.
The Botox is Botoxing, I have to say.
What do you mean?
We don't, us over here, we're all natural.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks again for coming on the pod. Why don't we start with just tell us a little bit about where you're from and then where you're living now.
I'm originally from Sherman, Texas. It's right up
towards Oklahoma from Dallas, so a
Okay,
smaller
small
town.
town.
Yes, and now I live in Fort Worth, where we went to college, TCU.
Yes, go
So it's been
Frogs.
go Frogs. So it's been home for a long time.
You're in Fort Worth now. Tell me a little bit about your kids.
Yeah, so I have 2 I got thrown into teenagehood,
Oh my
directly into
gosh.
teenagehood, yes. I'm a stepmom of 2, so my stepson is 17, and
Oh
he's
my gosh.
gonna be a junior in high school, and then my stepdaughter's 20, and she's gonna be a junior in college at Auburn. So
Wow,
yes.
that's impressive. I'm sure
Yeah.
they just love you and think you're just like the coolest, funnest, like stepmom ever.
Well, like normal, like if they're your biological kids, if they do,
True.
they'd never admit it. So I
True.
maybe later in life, but right now I don't necessarily get those props, but but it's still nonetheless being a stepmom is by far out of all the sexy and cool titles you
I know
just
the crazy things
that
that
you
you've
just made me
done.
sound very cool, but out of all of those
Being
things,
stepmom. I mean, that's a
being a
big
stepmom's the
role. It's a
coolest.
big role. And
It is.
it's like very step parents are so influential on kids. And, it's just great that you're able to be that role model for them. And that's just amazing.
Yeah, I love being able to, just be an additional adult in their life that loves and supports them.
Exactly.
And they're definitely very special. I don't know that being a step parent, just like being a biological parent, is a lot of work. And they're special kids, which is why I wanted that job. And
Hmm.
I'm very lucky because I always joke and say, but I mean it. They're better than anything I could have made
Oh,
myself.
that's
Oh,
so
But yeah.
sweet. That is so sweet and endearing. Okay, now to the good stuff.
Okay.
The art.
The art. Yes.
Yes, the mommy artist. Okay, so what is your artist title?
My artist
Mhm,
title.
like you are a
Collage. I
collage
would say
collage
yes,
artist.
a strictly collage artist. That is the medium I use, so
Okay,
yes.
so tell me a little bit about what you use to make your collages or how you even got this idea.
Yes, so it started, out of nowhere, really. Um I've always been creative and love fashion and interior design, but never fancied myself an artist. I never really even knew I could draw at all. Like I said, I was an athlete, and that's really
Right.
where my focus was growing up. So I just never really explored anything else. But after years of being in the business world and then meeting my husband and finally being at a point where I could really evaluate what made me happy, it definitely wasn't the business world or the roles I'd been having.
Mhm.
Um, and luckily, I had a husband who could help financially, and I could finally maybe think outside of
Right.
what made me money versus what I really wanted to do.
Right.
And I'm very fortunate, lucky for that. But I really came across it in a crazy way. I was self-deprecating with a friend who's an artist and has sold series and things. We were taking a needle pointing class.
Oh my gosh,
Yes, having
neat.
fun, but I was just self-deprecating, say, "Look at me with all these degrees and things, and what am I doing?
Yes.
I'm, like, just a create crafting over here," and she just looked at me and she said, "You're the most, like, creative person I know, like, you have the best design, fashion, like, you just need to find your medium. I actually think you have something artistic in you."
Wow.
And I kinda just laughed at it, but it stuck in my head, and I've always collected, for years, for over a decade, I've collected old magazines, mostly old Playboy magazines. I
That
was
is
just
so cool.
1920s, 30s, I was just obsessed with them. I love reading the advertising
Mhm.
and all of
Mhm.
the old fashion and
Mhm.
design, and so when she said I needed to find my medium, I just went right to those magazines, and I just thought, maybe I can, like, cut them up and do something with them. So, somehow that kind of transpired, and I found these online Instagram contests that I was telling Carly about. I created a fake handle on Instagram, and I started entering these collage
How did you
contests.
do
Yes.
she
that?
was like living a fake artist
I was
life on
living
the
a fake artistic
DL.
life
All
before
on
I
your
even knew
own.
I was a real artist, yeah.
I love that.
And I started winning, which by winning, it just means reposting you to their site, but my husband I was
But
going into
still,
my
oh my
still, I was
gosh,
happy.
yes.
And I'm competitive and ex-athlete, so I'd go into my husband, I'd be like, "I won, I won." He's like, "What are you talking
Oh
about?"
my
He didn't even know.
gosh.
He's like, "What Instagram account are you using?" It was like the whole thing. He thought it was, like, crazy, but so I'd made a few that I thought were really cool, but like a lot of people may be into collage art or surrealism in collage, it's hard to find large scale
Mhm.
fine art that you can put up in your home, and I love
Mhm.
art and I love interior design. So I thought, "Oh, maybe I can take some of these designs I've made and take them to a printer I'd use for other things and print them larger and make art for my home. And I did that and I brought it home, and my husband just thought it was the coolest thing. And I didn't know if it was like just happy wife, happy life, or if it
Yeah.
really was cool. But that's how it kind of started. And then my sister-in-law saw one and wanted one, and her decorator saw it and thought it was cool. And then I kind of finally was able to wrap my head around, oh, well, maybe this is actually something
Yes.
cool, and other
Yes.
people enjoy it. So
Yes.
that's kind of how I got here.
That is an incredible story. I
Yes.
love that. And it's so funny and it's so common with artists, even myself, to have that imposter syndrome or
Yeah.
that, especially, I mean, from you going from so many different other interests at the beginning, because I was kind of always like kind of knew art was my direction in theater and just kind of, just didn't call myself an artist because I wasn't making money off my art. But where you come from, even a totally different direction, coming from being an athlete and then find yourself as an artist, is just, even that you would even take that like leap and like get that Instagram and like have all those things working in your mind, and then like you come out and it's just like this wonderful thing, and that is just so special.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
thank
that.
you.
I think in both of y'all's situations too, both of the stories sound like, and Ashley's, like the doors just started opening for you as soon as you started. Like you put yourself out
Mhm.
there and the doors just keep opening one after another. And then you get that confidence and now you're a whole artist. I mean, like
I
for
know, like a
real.
real artist.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's artist, and the imposter syndrome is so real. And yes, I'm not a trained artist, and even just putting my stuff up on social media for the first time was like I couldn't even show it. In fact, one of the first people I showed it to, second person I showed it to, was my decorator that I've worked with. She just has phenomenal taste in art and everything, and I knew that she would tell me the truth of what she thought.
Mhm.
And it's so weird because you've known me for a long time. I'm a very confident
Yes.
person. I don't really talking to people isn't something I struggle with. I was standing at the bottom of my stairs. My studio is upstairs in my home, and I like couldn't even walk upstairs with her. I'd never experienced anything like it. I was like
Mhm.
I was just like stone, my legs. I couldn't move because I was so scared to show her this side of me. But
Yes.
that's when I think I knew it was the right thing, because I've never had that feeling. And I think that's when you just know you're really passionate about something, because
Mhm.
I knew that if she wasn't into it, it didn't really matter to me, that I
Mhm.
just loved it and I liked what I was creating and I really just loved what I was doing. But that business minded, competitive person in me who likes approval like a
Mhm.
lot of us do,
Mhm.
still wanted to hear that it was good from
Right.
somebody else. But I think also my age is another thing. I think if I was younger, I probably would question myself more, but I think I was a
Mhm.
lawyer and other things long enough to know that just because you're trained in something doesn't mean
Mhm.
you're good at it. So
Hmm.
just because
Exactly.
you went to art school doesn't mean you're maybe the best artist. Just because you went to law school doesn't mean you're the
Exactly.
best lawyer.
Exactly.
So I actually think it really is good for me, because as I've gotten into it more and more, I've realized a lot of artists, there's not necessarily a lot of originality out there. And
Mhm.
I think and not hating on people who are trained artists and been around art and their whole careers and studies. I just think then you've seen a lot and it's hard not to be influenced by
Mhm.
that. I think the fact that I haven't been around a lot of art or looking at it or what are other collage artists doing, and just truly just coming from whatever's inside of me, has actually been my biggest strength in what I'm
Yes.
creating.
I
So
totally agree with that because that is exactly what I'm doing. I am the same. I kind of wanted to obviously research podcasts and kind of know what I'm doing a little bit, but I was talking to one of my friends who's also in the entertainment business, and he was like, it's a part of this originality and authenticity of your podcast is that like you are doing it just kind of off the cuff, and like you're doing what you would want to see on a podcast. You're not necessarily like researching like what's trending right now. What's this? Like this is for you, and it's some like your expression of yourself. And in that it's just been so freeing, and like Carly said, even the opening the doors. Like ever since like I put my foot out there to say like, okay, yes, I am going to do this. It's like just snowballed into like it truly does feel like stars are aligning and it's like everything's connecting, and it's so beautiful. And then I talk to you and it's the same thing. It sounds like you had that like aha moment where it's like, oh, the more I'm kind of dipping my toes into this, the more better it feels for me, because probably your mental health is being met in ways you didn't even know you needed, like art. And then I don't know, it's just and then other people see it in you, and I think you're inspiring other people by just I mean, honestly, me, when I saw your Instagram where I'm like, "She became an artist?" I was like, "What?" Because I knew, Ashley is being
Yes.
super
Yes.
athletic,
I know
Yes.
it's
super fit, and then the NFL thing was like a huge,
Mhm.
career move and such a big career in itself to go away from that, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit, like, I'm sure it was hard to, like, part with such a successful career and something that was so financially, rewarding to, just something different.
Yeah, it was hard, and it still is hard, especially because, like you said, most people have known me forever, have no clue like, it is a very, out of the ball like, "What are you talking about? You're an artist," because 'cause they've
Right.
known me to do business or, from college, be an athlete, and, that just goes to show you, I think, like, it is hard when you're good at things or things kind of come to you easily, to follow them, and then people know you for those things, but I think that's why it's important to really self-discovery and to take time not necessarily what are you good at or what should you do to make money, but what it always comes back to what your passion is. I know that's like such a, follow your passion and money and all those things will come. And most of the time you just think that that's ridiculous
I
until
mean,
you
see
really
it.
do it and you see that it really works. And if you do follow your passion, I think you're right. If you put yourself out there and make yourself vulnerable, I'm not somebody that's good at that. I kind of have always been like wanted to put a certain persona out there
Mhm,
and look a certain
mhm,
way and that's really why, to be honest, I got to where I was at whenever I, in my 30s and was not doing something I was happy with, was
mhm,
doing something that sounded really great to other people. I looked really good on paper. I have all these
mhm,
degrees, but none of it really matters if you're not happy at your soul, and I understand people have to make money and those things, but I still would tell people even if it's starting as a hobby and, you have to ease into it, making it full time. Or I understand that any art, it's really expensive to
mhm,
be an
mhm,
artist. I've realized now more than
mhm,
ever how
mhm,
expensive it is,
mhm,
especially if you're talking an artisan collage or painting or drawing.
mhm,
But I think, if you put yourself out there and make yourself vulnerable, then not only do you feel fulfillment just within yourself,
mhm,
but then it is also rewarding to see other people find that to be inspiring. And
mhm.
I think we all have something creative in us. It's just tapping into it.
Fun question. Looking back, what would you be most shocked about? Like, say, your 5th grade self, that you were an NFL agent, a collage
Oh,
artist.
oh, I knew I was going to be an NFL agent.
Oh my is that so
Oh,
that's, like, what you
uh,
wanted, like, when you're little, you
Ever
were like,
since I met her, she'd always said that too. Like,
"That
you
is
had always said
crazy."
that, and then when I saw her posting her art, I remember texting and be like, "I've known you for a long time, and I didn't know, like, you could draw." Like, it talk about something be unlocked for sure.
No, yeah.
yeah, I
And
think
then you
I really
realize you're like, "Oh, I don't have to draw to be an artist." Your eye for
Yes.
things
it
is
is
your
a
art.
lot of I think in my art, you kind of see my diverse background and that I am probably kind of I would describe myself as a more of a dynamic person. I have a lot of um, interest and likes from being super girly and fashion and old movies and old Hollywood glamour to the sports and classic cars. And so I think my art it can kind of connect with a lot of people because you see my diverse interest and kind of that jack of all trades background shine through. So I feel like sometimes I've always joked with my husband after being an agent and trying to decide what I would do. I was like, I'm a jack of all trades. What am I going to do? I've had this weird NFL career,
Mhm, mhm.
and what am I going to do? But it's so funny how things work out and God always has a plan because everything I've done has helped me as an artist from website to the
Mm.
materials I'm developing to brand strategy, all the things I did in my business life. They've all helped me get to where I am with spending less money and just I think also just having a business background just helped me
Mhm.
as an
Oh my
artist
gosh,
get
yes.
going. So it's funny how sometimes you're like think things in life happen for no reason until you're meant to see exactly why they
And, like, why is it, like is it just this time in our lives? Because,
think
like, it's
so.
me and it's so many women that I've, been reaching out to interview.
You're young, you don't know yourself, you're trying to plan everything and be these certain things, and I think where we're at now, you just don't care, and you're just ready to really embrace I don't think I would have been able to be an artist younger. I don't think I was, was able to be so carefree, like you're saying. I was never as good at I've become better at that as I've gotten older. I just think at this point in our lives, you finally my husband's 11 years older, so it's kind of cool to always get
His
his
perspective.
perspective, because a lot of times it's funny, and I've seen it happen already. It's like, just shaking his head because he's like, those things don't matter. You're not gonna, you're caring about them now, but in 10
Mhm.
years they're not gonna,
I love that.
he has great insight for those things. And I've seen that in myself. As I get older, I get way less amped up about
Mhm.
things. But I just think in general, we're about to be, I hate to say it because we don't
I was
look
about to
it.
say,
We're about to
nobody
be-
has
we're
said
about to be-
pushing 40
I'm
We're
yet.
a few
pushing
months
40.
away.
We're-
I'm a few months
Are
away.
you okay?
Yes.
Then you're older than both of us,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But we're all
Yes,
close.
she is.
But I say that this having a husband who just turned 50, he's gonna hate that I say that. He doesn't look
Shout
it,
out, Brett.
luckily. So, but I think I keep saying I'm ready to be 40 because I'm like, I married
No,
an
I love-
older man
yes.
for everybody to say how hot your younger
Yeah.
wife is.
Yes.
They've been
everybody-
saying that for a while,
Well,
actually.
no, but you marry
But
an older
not-
guy and they're just talking about how young he looks for his age. So I'm like,
Yes.
when we're in our 40s, that's actually impressive. It's not
Mhm.
impressive to look good in your 30s. But
Right.
once you're 40, people are
No,
going to be
I
like,
agree.
dang.
I have gotten I'm seasoning well
Yes,
with age.
yes.
With everything though, I'm
You
getting
are.
more athletic. Like put me in a volleyball game when I was in 7th grade, I'd be the worst one. Put me in a volleyball game now, I'm one of the top. So you said you had a love of pop culture, and then you also had a vintage magazine collection, which is is vintage magazines that is pop culture,
Yeah,
right?
I would say, there's a ton of, that's where all
like,
of,
what is pop culture?
I would say anything that's relevant at your current
Your
time.
time,
Like
yeah.
it's
Okay, a
it's
trending
Mhm.
culture.
yes. So any fashion, entertainment,
Oh, 'cause it's
art,
popular.
yeah,
Yeah.
popular culture, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so all my collage art, I only work strictly with vintage materials, really because I started with that, and then I just want to stick to that aesthetic.
What makes the material vintage? Like,
From
what's the time?
Well, I guess I don't know if there's a technical
Or
vintage
for you,
age.
for you.
For me, I would say I work mainly like 1930s through. I try to stay the newest materials I would use would probably be around the 80s, but I like the 60s and 70s and the
Cool.
best. And one of the coolest parts about my art for me is just going through all the materials I use. Like I love just looking through them. The stories behind, I find most of them are just what I feel like connects people to my art.
Yes.
So I had started using them, and yes, I guess I could have decided to work with newer materials at some point, but I just love I think it sets my art apart, and it achieves a look of modern art that I couldn't find as an art collector because I love art and I love pop culture. So even as an art collector, I was looking for stuff that I love that highlights pop culture, but a lot of things out there were super modern. Like we're using a lot of different, whether it's glitter and neon. It was just a lot at once when you're already dealing with pop art and things like that. So I kind of wanted something for my own
And you
home.
wanted it to be fine art.
Yeah, that
to
was
make-
fine
to
art, that was
look
more
classy,
subdued,
yeah.
that was like timeless in a way and that's what I think my art does do, and people who collect it and like it are drawn to it for just kind of the nostalgia and the old colors and the aesthetic and the things that you can't really get today.
Mhm.
Whether it's because they lived through those times or they wish they did, or so yeah, I think working with the vintage materials, it's definitely something I'm not going to part ways from, and I think has made my art easily recognizable even early on in my career.
Mhm. Yes, it sets you apart for sure, and you're using like authentic vintage material.
Yeah, everything.
Is it
And-
hard to find those
Yeah,
materials?
it actually is, and even it's easier now because of online. I used to go to a lot of antique stores and things, but a lot of those places don't really have good old magazines and
Mhm.
materials like that. I'm a eBay connoisseur, which I already
Cool.
was because of my shopping problems
Yeah.
with clothes. But now
It's helping with your work.
I'll find an image, like let's say of Bridget Bardot or something. Lots of times I'm inspired by something. And yes, you can go on and find it digitally, but it's just not the same. So I'll hunt it
Mhm.
down and find like an original movie photo, like a movie, somewhere where it's a tangible image
Mhm.
that was from that time. So it can be hard, but that's part
Yeah,
of the
that's-
fun and
Yeah,
the
that's
hunt.
super interesting. I love when we go like to Round Top or whatever. I love I'm so drawn to the books or like the old paper, like just anything old, like vintage paper. Or I love even the I love getting plays from like Europe that are from like the 1800s, like the books. I
Yeah.
just something about it, and it's almost like I can imagine myself like I'll like touch it and like try to like
Yeah, it's like you're
take
just
me back
traveling
to
back
the
in
time.
time.
Yeah, I love
Especially,
it.
I don't know, to me, it's always funny because I say this and sometimes whenever I'm, at an art show or something, to me, they're materials from better times. Sometimes I'll say that to somebody who lived through
Yes.
the time and they're like, you're
Yes,
crazy. It was not a
right.
better time. But to me, it was like, I love those decades and just, I always think of like, I was born in the wrong time. I've always kind of fancied myself an old soul. So it is cool to get to kind of relive those decades and times that you didn't.
So let's talk about your creative process for a bit. Would you consider yourself chaotic, spiritual, or intuitive?
I would definitely say chaotic.
You have a lot of like when you're collaging, is there like paper everywhere, scissors everywhere, like, and then it's all cleaned up at the end, or what's that like?
Yes. So I have a studio that is very organized when I'm not creating.
Right.
I'll go through all my materials sometimes like every few months and I'll try to organize. I have two specific collage types I do. So one, I use hand torn pieces of paper and I make larger images more cohesive from afar. And then you get up closer and you can see the scraps. Then I have another collage technique that's pretty unique. I make small paper collages that I then use a special process that I enlarge them and print them on metal. So I separate all of my things in my studio, like either by color for my ones that I hand tear or by cool shit is what basically all my butts like cool hot girls, cool cars, cool aliens, spaceships. And so it's all very organized until I start creating. And then
Right.
it's chaos, especially if I'm doing one with the small hand torn pieces. I mean, you'd walk in fact, if my husband or a friend, they're just, you would think it's, I know where every single thing is though. And I usually, if I'm making an original where I do the hand torn pieces, I like go hard. It will be chaotic. Then I'll clean up. I'll have to because to really
just
kind
don't
of go
have
in
any
and
room,
finalize.
right.
Yeah. And so it's definitely a process. And on those, it's usually several weeks. So I have an OCD husband, and luckily I can keep him out of my. I say, don't walk through the studio if you don't want to have a heart attack. But he's usually fine as long as he knows it's in the studio. But yeah, it's definitely chaotic for if you were to look at it. For me, it's beautiful chaos. I know where it's all going and where it all is, but it's definitely also spiritual, intuitive as you go. I just kind of am usually inspired and start creating. I can go weeks creating and then stop and then be back on it. But I feel so blessed that I have the ability to kind of let my creativity flow like that. And it's a big reason why I wanted to have a studio in my home or where I create in my home, because for me, it just kind of comes in waves. So I need to take it whenever I can.
No, and we have all the other, responsibilities too at home. And same with me. So I was like, let's do a studio at home. Ashley, where can we find your art?
Yes, all my art's available on my website, ashleybeebe.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. And tell us your Instagram for people who want to follow.
Yes, and my Instagram is just myself. My name, it's all through my individual Instagram. So it's just AshleyBeebe_.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Mommy Artist Podcast Lightning Round. We're still here with Ashley and Carly. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Most used emoji?
I hate emojis.
Fire.
None.
No, I don't know. Does that make me sound like a bitch?
No.
I've never seen you use an emoji.
Well, I feel like only artists use emojis. I'm kidding. Low-rise jeans or a juicy tracksuit?
Low-rise jeans.
The highest to the heavens, if anything. Juicy tracksuit.
2002.
Oh, juicy.
You loved Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Backstreet Boys. No. Oh, God. I liked them.
NSYNC.
NSYNC. I know.
NSYNC.
I know. She got scared. She goes, Backstreet Boys. NSYNC.
You're staying with me tonight. NSYNC.
I know. I had to read that.
Okay,
JT for life.
Who would win in a fight, a Furby or a Tamagotchi?
Furby.
Furby.
Would you survive a zombie apocalypse or immediately give up?
Oh, I'd survive.
Immediately give up. When it's my time to go, God's gonna take me. I've said that all the time.
I knew both answers. You'll literally be the last. You will literally be the last one there. You will literally be the first one to go.
No, I always say that. I'm gonna get down on my knees. It's my time to go.
Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
No.
What? They're so real.
Would you rather Cry glitter or sneeze confetti?
Cry glitter. I was just thinking what would be more pretty, but I think I'd probably like to sneeze.
Oh, wait.
Sneeze confetti.
I'll sneeze confetti because
Glitter's
That's hilarious.
I have a lot of eye problems. I don't need any more with glitter.
Okay. Would you rather deal with a judgy art dealer or a sassy NFL receiver?
sassy. I never represented the sassy receivers because I was smarter than that. I'd always go for like the smart offensive lineman. I don't know. Probably an art dealer. Yeah. Probably an art dealer. They're snooty.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
I'll never been.
Yeah. No, I'd rather deal with a NFL player. Yeah.
I'll go NFL too, but I'll never be in the situation.
Which one gives you the ick faster? Clapping when the plane lands or a man saying, well, actually, about something you have a degree in?
The second.
I don't mind the clapping when the plane lands in this day and time. Like, I feel like it's okay that we just made it
Do
there.
that sometimes.
So
you
I'll
get
go
excited.
Yeah, I'm glad I made it there. So I'll go the well, actually.
Oh. And that's all the time we have. Dun, 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 dun. This is Horn Frog Fact or Totally False. We all went to whoop whoop TCU. Wow. We did not practice that.
did it. We nailed it.
Here's question number 1. There's a secret underground tunnel between the library and the chapel.
Fact.
It is false.
Oh, so
The confidence in Ashley made it all better.
I know. Ashley said it, so I thought
Made it all the while.
Like it would be true.
Number 2, TCU was founded in 1873, but not in Fort Worth. It started in Throp Spring, Texas, then moved to Waco and finally settled in Fort Worth after a fire.
True. It's true.
It is true. Good job.
It's true.
Yay.
Yeah.
At one point, the TCU dining hall served a dish called Frog Legs Friday. Frog Legs Friday! It was my favorite day. Everyone's
There's
favorite.
no way you'd ever eat
Well, no, it would have.
Y'all are correct. It was false.
that. Oh.
Riff Ram Bazoo is the oldest cheer in the Southwest.
I hope so, because that's the jam. False.
I don't think. Yeah. Probably.
Miss Atoms is correct.
Ooh.
It is true. The original TCU mascot was a dancing cactus named Carl. Look at us.
ChatGPT.
I tried to sell it. I tried to sell it good.
ChatGPT came up with
Carl. Let's go, frog.
I would have known that.
Last question. When threatened, a horned frog will shoot urine from its eyes.
Blood.
Blood.
True, and y'all are all correct. A horned frog shoots blood from his eyes, and that's it from our TCU Horned Frogs. Go Frogs! All right, besties, my glass is empty, but my cup is full, and that means it's the end of the episode. Remember that you can't have butterfly conversations with caterpillar people, and that everyone out there is trying their best. Love you. Bye! You can find the Mommy Artists podcast on YouTube to watch the full video. Give it a like, hit subscribe, and come back next week for more iconic chaos and creative magic. But no worries if not.